It's Wednesday, 13th of April. I'm now about to contact DS John Elwell, Operation Weeting at Scotland Yard.
Speaking.
Hello, DS Elwell.
Hello there.
Hello, mate. It's
Brian.
Yeah, it's Brian. Yeah.
Hello, Brian. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not good. I'm not.
No?
I'm not good, to be honest.
Sorry to hear that.
I don't know whether Mr. Atkin has forwarded my emails to you.
He did. He said you had some decision at the High Court today. Is it today or?
No, it was yesterday. It was done. It was done via telephone conference with my Mackenzie friend in Jamaica.
Okay.
And I was listening in from this end.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, this is going to be a matter for the Supreme Court now.
Okay.
Because literally, them judges are all in bed together. I mean, it's blatantly obvious. And
what's happened first, Brian?
Well, but what it is the other side called limitation.
Right.
And which basically stopped me from going back to 2002 and bringing this evidence.
Okay.
And I was put into the compensation scheme, which was set up, and I shouldn't have been. I should have been involved in the Old Bailey trial. The evidence that I've got has been held back by the solicitor that was representing me, whose name was Richard Mallet.
Okay, yeah, I've seen some of your emails. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe he's friendly with someone there at Scotland Yard because I did send a letter to Scotland Yard and request for page 59 of the mole care notes. Because I'm on page 58 and page 60, I find it very hard to believe, if they're in chronological order, that I'm not on page 59.
They're not strictly in chronological order. Mulcair, as you probably gather from his notes, he sort of flitted about from subject to subject.
Well, he has made a statement that he believes his own notes have been tampered with.
Sorry, say it again.
He has made a statement in the press that he believes his own notes have been tampered with.
Okay, well that's a matter for him. I'm not aware of that,
but and I did request page 59. I didn't get it, and it must relate to evidence concerning my ex-wife, who was still married to me at the time, because there is nothing else on paper apart from the phone number that I've got on page 58,
right?
That relates to her. So
see what we do as a police when the court order comes in, which is obviously we've done. Our Department of Legal Services requested from us formally. So what we do, we do all our searches, and then we provide that information to our Department of Legal Services, the lawyers. The lawyers will then assess it to say, yes, this is appropriate to give to you, or whoever it is. But we have to be mindful of third-party information that is called. So just because it belongs to your ex-wife or your wife at the present time, it doesn't necessarily mean you would be entitled to it. But that would be a matter for you to have a discussion with the legal services.
Well, I was denied it, but somehow Richard Mallet was able to look at it.
Right, okay.
Right,
I don't know this chap myself, so...
Yeah, no, well, I'll fill you in on Richard Mallet. Basically, in April 26, 2002, there was a News of the World sting operation done on me.
Yes, I'm aware of that, yeah.
Right, and basically I was set up with drugs. In the criminal trial, I got not guilty.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, and the very next day, the News of the World printed guilty, listen to our hate-filled tapes.
Yeah.
Now, in the process of that trial, Richard Mallet done an abuse of process argument, and sent that to Tom Crone, because Tom Crone was reluctant to release all of the clandestine recordings that they had done.
Right. Yeah.
And he didn't release it to us, and there was stuff on transcript that we never had the tapes for in disclosure.
Right.
So there was
disclosure from News of the World, yes?
Yeah, from News of the World, within the criminal trial.
Yeah.
He was reluctant to give us the tapes, clearly because the way that apparently Robert Kellaway works and Mazza Mahmood, is that they will only put forward the stuff that's incriminating, and they will hold everything else back.
Right, I see. Yeah.
Right, so that was in 2002, and Richard Mallet was my solicitor at the time.
Yeah.
So I get not guilty anyway. The next day they printed guilty, And if we fast forward to 2012, I get a phone call 10 years later from Richard Mallett.
Right.
Saying, are you aware of this phone hacking thing? And I thought you was treated really unfairly. And do you want me to go into the Met to see what they've got?
Yeah.
Now, the thing that's strange is that Richard Mallett was holding all of the information that proves that I was phone tapped in 2002. So why is he coming to me, saying to me, do you want me to see what they've got? Surely he should have been saying to me, I've got all the paperwork from 2002 which proves phone tapping. Let's go forward with it.
Well, let me tell you our position. I've come into the inquiry in 2011.
Right.
We had a period of informing people and seeing exactly what we had, because obviously the original inquiry is 2005.
Yeah.
I've looked at your file, I've looked at everything relating to you, and in our hands, in the police hands, the suggestion is of your sting, etc. We've got evidence of that, but I haven't got any call data relating to you that we could definitively prove you've been phone hacked. I'm not saying you haven't been hacked.
No, I've got the call data.
Yeah. Well, we haven't got that.
Well, you wouldn't have it because it's been held back by Richard Mallett.
Right. So the case is one of the reasons why we didn't use you within the trial is when we present our case to the CPS. Bearing in mind there was something like 6,500 victims of phone hacking involved in the...
Yeah, I know. I appreciate there was a lot of people.
We couldn't use everybody.
Well, Ian Tippett from your office did tell me.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. But what we do, we present everything, and we want to make the best opportunity of getting them guilty. So the CPS and us provide details where we've got the full chain of evidence from someone being tasked to call data, to direct emails, to conversations between the journalists, to payments and stories. So that's where the CPS want. That's what they want, and that's what we provide to them. So not everybody will get a mention in the court.
Right. Well,
so that's the reason why we wouldn't have used you.
Right. Well, I mean, I should have been there. I can appreciate that you didn't have the evidence at the time.
Yeah.
And that's
the thing. It would be lovely. There's loads of victims in similar positions to you, and I would have loved to have used, or the prosecution would have loved to use, because it's really.
Well, would they?
To get the victims heard, but it's not feasible to get that many people in court, and we have to pick and choose in order to have the best chance of prosecuting these people. So that's the reason why we wouldn't have used you in that circumstances, because you didn't have any call data.
Well, the thing is I've also got reason to believe that, no disrespect, but the police were involved because they've taken on illegal evidence from the News of the World. They were fully aware that my telephone conversations were recorded and decided to go ahead and put me in prison. Now, they let the story be published in the News of the World on the 5th of May. I've got Robert Kellaway sending DS Werrett in Loughton Police Station transcripts of all of the calls that he's made. It's in black and white there. It's on paper. Yeah. And the date that he's transcribing the calls is the 2nd of the 5th, 02. Now, it's funny that relates to top of page 60 on the Mulcair notes, which says the 2nd of the 5th, 02. So Robert Kellaway must have been sitting right next to him at that time. I mean, I find it unbelievable that they wasn't. So the dates marry up. Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the reason we didn't use you in court is because we had to provide the best evidence to the CPS.
Yeah, Richard Mallett held that back. So I appreciate what you're saying, but the evidence has now come to light, and I believe that Richard Mallett should be prosecuted because he's held back major information. I had to force them files out of him through the legal ombudsman. Now, bearing in mind that this is the same guy that filed the abuse of process argument in 2002 and knew fully well that I was phone tapped. Also, it's the same guy that comes to me in 2012 and says, do you want me to go to the Met and see what they've got? Knowing full well that he was holding back everything. I mean, even my mobile telephone number that was blanked out on your notes to me, the Mulcair notes. So, I think that is... I mean, it's blatantly obvious what he's been doing. Also, in the compensation scheme, I was offered £10,000 without prejudice, which is lower than the bar of what anyone else has been offered within that. I mean, it's clear to me that they're all in bed together. And what I want to ask you is do do you at Operation Weeting want to get to the bottom of this, or
Operation Weeting is now finished.
right? So
We've concluded Operation Weeting. Weeting is finished. There's literally a handful of us coming back just to literally put the various inquiries to bed, so to speak. So there will be no further prosecutions with Operation Weeting or subsequent.
well, even with blatant evidence like that, I mean, how can that be right?
Well, we've prosecuted News of the World.
Yeah, but you
as far as we can with regarding the CPS. We're not going to reinvestigate historical jobs. We've done that now. And we won't be going for. I appreciate you'll be really annoyed with it, but
I am annoyed because I can't be sitting on evidence like this and be told that nothing's going to be done about it. I mean, what is going on?
The thing is, we've actually prosecuted News of the World, which was the whole idea of Operation Weeting. So we've taken the evidence as best we can forward.
Yeah, but you've got new evidence now.
I can honestly say we will not be taking the evidence forward because we can't reinvestigate every single claim. We've gone through as much as we can. It's not going to be in the public interest.
It is in the public. It is in the public interest that the News of the World were phone tapping is breach of interception of communications.
But as I said at the time, we took forward the best possible evidence we could, and we had the 8-month trial. And we won't go back and review that.
And I should have been included in that trial.
I've explained why you weren't included because we didn't have any call data.
Right, so we
can't take forward 6,500 victims to a trial.
But listen, if 6,500 victims is the number of people that have been wronged, then surely it's your duty to deal with that.
How long do you think the court trial would have lasted if we tried to get 6,500 victims?
So you just pick and choose the ones that you want to use, and some people get justice and some don't. Is that what you're telling me?
No, we choose the Crown Prosecution Service is there in order to prosecute.
Mate, the Crown Prosecution Service are involved. Do you understand that? They are involved. They knew full well that my telephone conversations were recorded and chose to imprison me. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying.
Right, so what are you telling me? Are you telling me that is it and I can do nothing? When I've been wronged here, I'm a sick man. I've been trying to get justice here for 4 years. I've been ignored. I know what's going on, mate. There's a blatant cover-up going on at the top. I know that. It's blatantly obvious to me. Blatantly obvious to me, and I'm calling you are the police, and I'm giving you fresh evidence that should have been involved in that case, and you're telling me that you don't want to hear it. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is we've investigated it as much as we can, and we've given the best opportunity to the Crown Prosecution Service to prosecute News of the World.
Well,
we took a number of selected individuals to give us the best chance of prosecution.
Well, you should have chose me.
Well, we didn't have that option at the time. One, we didn't have the call data, and two, obviously there were lots of other people that we proved that evidential chain.
Richard Mallett should never have put me in that compensation scheme. I should have been in the Old Bailey trial.
Well, as I said, we didn't have that evidence then, and as a result, we went with what we believed and what the Crown Prosecution Service wanted was the best possible evidence in order to try to find these people guilty, which is what we done.
Well, you haven't done because they've got away with it. Rebecca Brooks has got her job back and everyone's gone back to normal. I mean, I'm sitting there with evidence that Andy Coulson has committed perjury and you don't want to do anything about it.
But, whether Rebecca Brooks got off, what we've done is provide the best possible evidence to the Crown Prosecution Service, and if the jury found her not guilty, then that's all we can do. There's only so much the police can do. We've got to provide the best evidence to the Crown Prosecution Service, and then it's up to the courts in order to find them guilty.
So you're telling me you're not prepared to look at my evidence now? Is that what you're saying?
Seeing the evidence on there, Operation Weeting is not going to go back to review historical evidence.
Right. So where do we go from here? Where do I go from here? Who do I talk to now?
If you want, I'll see if I can get a senior officer, if you so wish, to speak to.
Well, is he going to be telling me the same thing as you? Because if he is, there's not really going to be much point, and I might as well just press ahead with the Supreme Court.
Then, I don't want to disappoint you, but Operation Weeting is finished. We're not going to go back to look at historical cases of phone hacking. Sorry to tell you that, but we're not going to do that.
Well, that's just ridiculous, because that shows me that really you don't really want to get to the bottom of it, and you don't want to prosecute the people.
We've prosecuted everybody we can at that time.
Yeah, Greg Miskill's but Greg Miskill was found guilty.
Yes, he was found guilty. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, and he's admitted everything. He would never run a story based on just on a piece of information from a voicemail. I mean, what does that tell you? He would never run a story based on a piece of information only from a voicemail, which means there had to have been something more. I'm sitting there with evidence that shows you that what they've done more, and you're not prepared to look at it.
So we're not going to look at historical cases. If you want me to get to a senior officer in order to speak to you, I'll by all means try that. If you're happy with that, I'll see if I can do that, if I'm not giving you the right answers.
Well, but you're not really, because what you're telling me is it doesn't matter what's happened to me, mate, and you're not going to bother look at it, which suggests to me...
We provided everything we could to the Crown Prosecution Service at that time, and your notes would have been part of it. Now, what the Crown Prosecution Service does is pick the best options of getting a guilty plea, which is what we've done. We provided the best possible evidence to the Crown Prosecution Service in order to prosecute those individuals. So all those notes were considered, all your notes were considered, everybody's notes were considered.
There's a cover-up here, isn't there? This is blatantly being covered up, blatantly. And I don't like to use that word because it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but to me, blatantly, there's a massive cover-up going on here, because you're the police and you're there to do the right thing, and you're not doing the right thing because you're telling me that you won't investigate.
We've investigated the phone hacking during that time, and we presented all our findings to the Crown Prosecution Service.
There's no limitation on criminal offences. Civil offences, you've got 6 years to bring a claim. Yeah, I understand that. But with criminal offences, there's no limit on that. So what are you talking about?
We're not going to go back to prosecute historical cases of phone hacking when we've done that within the phone hacking trial.
Right, so it's left to me to bring a private criminal prosecution.
Well, if that's the way you want to take it.
Well, yes, I'm going to take it that way, because there's no way I'm going to be sitting on all this evidence and no one's going to look at it. I'm going to go as far as I possibly can, and if I don't get through in the Supreme Court, I'll be taking it to the United Nations, and believe me, I will.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. I'm sorry you feel like that, but...
Well, I do feel like that, because this is just unbelievable. I cannot believe how you can ignore someone with such strong evidence. I mean, you've only got to look on the last email that I sent, and it's all tied together for you there. You can see, and I'm suggesting that the police don't want to get involved because they know that they took on illegal evidence from the News of the World, i.e. phone tapping evidence. You didn't even transcribe the calls yourselves, not you personally, but the police. They took on Robert Kellaway's transcripts, didn't even bother to do their own, and arrested me on that basis, and I was in prison for 56 days for a breach of a non-molestation order, which I didn't breach, and the News of the World have made it look like I breached a non-molestation order, and I didn't. And then they're allowed to print guilty after I get not guilty. How can that be right, sir? Tell me how that can be right. If you was me, how would you feel? How can that be right?
We had to go forward on the evidence that we had at the time, which I believe we've done.
Well, I don't believe you have, and there's no point in talking to anyone there, because clearly you're not going to do anything about it, are you?
Okay, all right. Well, sorry you feel like that, Brian.
All right, and I mean, I'm still going to talk to Tony Atkin. I don't really know why he wants to take the evidence concerning Andrew Ash and the other stuff, as you've already closed down the operation. So why do they still want my evidence?
No, I actually know nothing whatsoever about that case, Brian. I'm not involved in Winter Key at all, so I have no knowledge of that at all. So
yeah, so it's all dead ends, isn't it? Like there's just no way forward.
It's a separate operation from us, so obviously we.
Well, surely you talk and liaise with your other officers about other cases. Surely.
They're in the other side of London, so it's not like we're in the same office or anything.
Well, you're not all in Stratford, no?
No.
Right.
I'm over in West London.
Oh, okay, right.
So I'm not even in I'm in communication on email, but that's it. But it's not like we're in the next office talking about various jobs, and obviously their job is extremely confidential, and obviously it's not right for people
is Rupert Murdoch a close friend of the Attorney General?
I've got no idea if Rupert Murdoch is a friend of anybody, sorry.
No comment on that.
Alright. Okay, Brian. Alright, I'll let, I Friday then.
Well, there's not really much point, is there? I may as well just take it forward in the only way that I've got left, because clearly I'm not going to get any help from you, am I? Well, just a yes or no answer would do. I'm not going to get any help.
We're not going to go back to providing evidence again for the Crown Prosecution Service to consider against News International.
Right, so when I say I'm not going to get any help from you, that's a no.
We're not going to go back.
Well, no, just a yes or no answer will do.
We will help as much as we can, but we are not going to...
Well, you're not helping, are you? Because you're telling me you're not going to. So, as far as me saying to you, are you going to help me on this? Is it yes or is it no? That's the only answer I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a spin answer. I just want a yes or a no.
I'm not spinning anything, Brian, but we're not going to start reinvestigating News of the World. We've done an 8-month trial. We've looked at it for 5 years.
Yeah, and you haven't done a very good job.
Well,
because the very people have got off of it, and you know it, and I know it, and so what you're telling me is you're not prepared to help me on this.
We will provide. We will assist you as much as we can.
Well, what can you assist? What can you assist me with?
We're not going to. Well, we could. If you've got the disclosure from us.
Yeah.
We can provide anything we can that way, but we've done that.
What, blanking off my phone number off of it? Why was it blanked out?
I don't know.
Why did you blank out? Well, you're Operation Weeting now. Why did you blank out my phone number on page 60 of the Molecare note? Can you tell me that?
Without looking at it, no, I can't tell you.
Well, can you have a look at it and tell me?
If it was your telephone number, you'd have been entitled to it.
Well, it was my telephone number, and I can prove it, and I think you can see that from where I've decoded the Molecare note. And if you take a look, you'll see that.
You know that at the time. It was your telephone number.
Well, then, if you didn't know that at the time, why did you send me that document if that wasn't my phone number?
Probably.
Sorry?
Because your name was probably on it or something.
Yeah, but why did you blank out the phone number?
Because we didn't probably attribute it to you. Well, I'm only guessing by that.
Well, you can't guess. You can't send me information based on a guess. You must have known that was my mobile phone number. Otherwise, you wouldn't have sent me that page.
Well, if it was blanked out, I don't know.
And why was that number blanked out? But yet I've got people like Jesse Wallace all over it and that. I mean, why wasn't that blanked out? This is what I'm saying. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a dead-end answer every single time off of you. I appreciate you've got people above you that tell you, look, this is the end of it now. But I'm sorry, mate, this ain't right. This ain't right. And I am going to fight this regardless of what you people there think of me. So what I want out of you is a straight answer. Are you prepared to help me get justice with my phone tapping evidence? I want a yes or a no, please.
Operation Weeting is finished. We've provided all the evidence to the phone hacking inquiry and the phone hacking trial.
Right, so is that a yes or a no?
We're not going to take any furthers forward, no.
Right, so it's a no.
As I said, we've presented all the evidence to the Crown Prosecution Service. Operation Weeting is finished, so we're not going to do, as part of Operation Weeting, any further.
Right, so can I have a yes or no answer, please? Are you prepared? Are you prepared to help me get justice? Yes or no?
I've given you my answer. Operation Weeting is finished. It's closed.
Right, so it's a no, yeah?
It's closed. Operation Weeting is closed. We're not going to do any further investigations to provide against News International.
Well, it's a criminal case, and there is no limitation on criminal offences. So,
said Operation Weeting is concluded.
Right. So, but as the police, then forget Operation Weeting. As the police and me reporting a crime.
If you want to take it into a police station, then consider that. But Operation Weeting will not be considering that.
Right. So it's a no.
Operation, as I said,
well, I just want a straight answer from you. I don't want to dance around the subject. If it's a no, then tell me no, please.
I'm not getting in the shouting match with you, Brian.
I'm not getting in the shouting match with you, mate. I just ask you, please appreciate my situation and put yourself in my shoes.
Operation Weeting is not going to take us further forward.
Right, so it's a no.
As I said, Operation Weeting is not going to take us further forward. It's a historical case, and Operation Weeting is finished.
Okay, so why can't you just tell me it's a no?
Why do you need to know?
Because I want a definite answer out of you. I don't want you dancing around the subject. I want someone from Operation Weeting to tell me, are they going to help me, yes or no?
Operation Weeting is finished.
Right, Operation Weeting is finished, but are you not the police?
Then if you really want to, take it into your local police station and get them to investigate it. But Operation Weeting is not going to take us further forward.
Right, so it's a no.
exactly that. We're not going to take it forward.
Okay, right. No, I think you've answered it. You've answered it. It's exactly that. So it's a no. I'm not going to get help. I'm not going to get help. All right. Thanks a lot for your time.
All right. No worries.
Thanks a lot. Goodbye.